Okay, so today we're gonna draw this corn. Last class session we drew the pumpkin, and I'm gonna keep my same lighting. So I put my flashlight hitting the same place, coming from the same angle. So the first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna get our pencil, our ebony or graphite pencil, and we're gonna draw the shape. So again, don't draw too big. And again, I'm not gonna draw the inside yet or the outside bumps for the kernels. Just gonna draw the outside shape. So that trying to draw only what I see. And for purpose of space, I'm gonna draw the leaves a little bit smaller or shorter. Looks like a carrot there. So I'm just looking how they're overlapping, and I know you guys can't see the other part of the corn. Let me scoot it out. Okay, so sometimes they bend, and sometimes you don't see the other part, so it's pretty long leaves here. So this is another fall item people used to decorate with. Okay, so now it's time to draw the kernels, and this is what artists do. Instead of drawing every single one, we're gonna do something I call abbreviation. So abbreviation in English means you shorten some words. You abbreviate. Here we're gonna abbreviate the texture. So instead of doing everything, I'm gonna do a little bit. So starting with the outside, I'm gonna do a few bumps. And I want them to be pretty much the same size, because that's the way these are. Okay, over here I don't have bumps, but then I start with the bumps. And again, I do want them pretty much the same size. It's okay if they're different, but okay. So I don't see any on here, so I won't draw those. And now inside, I'm gonna try to abbreviate. And sometimes it's hard, but okay, so I'm gonna skip a few and then do more. And then maybe I'll skip a row. And I'm trying not to draw the whole circle, like sometimes parentheses work. And I noticed that kernels grow in rows. Sometimes they're straight, sometimes they're not. So what I'm doing is trying to follow a pattern. Maybe some are circular, some are not. So you want your circles or the kernels to be some complete circle. Some of them you want them parentheses, like that. So this is what I call abbreviation. You can do a few lines here and there. So we're trying not to draw every single kernel, okay? And that's it, and maybe a couple of corn hairs. So this is what I have. And again, this is called abbreviation. You don't want to draw every single corn kernel because it doesn't look, it won't help us with coloring, and it won't help us, it's too much detail. So I think that's pretty much it. Now we're getting to the coloring part. So I'm just gonna try to draw some few shadows here, okay? So we can start drawing this shadow back here. There's only a little bit of shadow. So this will be our darkest dark. Remember that before you add any crayon or pencil, you wanna make sure that you do your shadowing first, because then your shadows won't blend well with the wax if you do the wax last. Okay, I'm gonna copy some of the shadows that are pretty dark behind my leaves. These are the darkest darks, and some leaves are bent, so I see that they have a little bit more shadow. Some of them are overlapping. And I'm still using observational drawing, so I'm making sure that I only draw what I see. Sometimes as an artist, you can exaggerate something. So there's my shadow. Okay, now this is kind of like a cylinder. So I'm going to draw my number 3 shadow here. So that means I'm going to do a little bit darker. And I don't want to lose my details. Okay, so if you need to, you can go back and redraw your kernels. Remember where you were. Okay, then my number 2. Since the light is hitting from here, just like on my squash, it's hitting from this place. I got a flyer here. Trying to learn too. Okay, so we got number 2. We got 4, 3, 2. And this is where my 1 comes in. Trying to see where my light's hitting the most, probably around here, so my 1 can wrap a little bit about at the top here. So that's my 1 barely touching. Okay, so now I'm going to go back and do the same with my leaves. I'm going to do my 3s. And remember, I'm trying to go fast for the video's sake. So looking where my 3s are. Now I'm going to look, where are my 1s and my 2s. Sorry, my 2s and my 1s. Okay, and then you can go back and you can redraw any areas that you feel need more attention. Okay, so one thing I forgot is, you guys can't see it, but there's a shadow right underneath. So I'm going to draw that right under here. Remember, put all your shadows that you're going to need before you crayon. So there it is. So now we're ready for the crayon. So today we're going to use the peach. So we'll get your peach, and we're probably still using the yellow. And possibly either like some kind of brick red or dark red. I only have 24 color crayons, but if you do have a brick red, this one's a little bit pinkish. So you just kind of want to match this reddish brown. You could also use brown. Okay, so first things first, lightest to dark. So I'm going to start with my light areas, and I'm going to try not to smear too much of that shadow. Okay, my light areas first, and try not to smear. You want to keep these areas a little bit lighter. I'm going to leave some white near the lightest areas, because that's where my light's hitting. Okay, next thing, my medium color. And later, but I can go back and push that yellow where it needs to go. Actually, I'm going to do it right now. So trying to leave a little bit of highlight around my kernels, so not to blend too much into the dark parts of them. Okay, now I'm going to go with my medium color, the peach. And I'm trying to crayon around my kernels so that the kernels pop out. And they don't look dark, only around the kernels. So I'm going to fill in with my peach, and you'll notice the shadows are starting to look dark. So again, crayon around your kernels if you want your kernels to look 3D. You don't want to color them in yet. It's just like the bumps over here. We kind of went around them, and towards the end we just filled it in with yellow. So I'm going to go back and add a little bit of peach. Or if you have any like light colored, super light brown. Fill in any of the white medium areas. Maybe get your darks darker. Okay, this is my 3rd color. I'm gonna go back with either my red brick or red or brown. I'm gonna use red for now. So I notice the red patterns here, so randomly choose a few kernels. Sometimes they're in rows. So I'm gonna kind of color around the kernels and fill it in and just leave a little tiny spot. So again, color around towards the middle and just leave a little white spot. Or it could be yellow spot. So it makes it feel like the light's hitting it there. Okay, so randomly look back at your object and check. We got some random kernels. Again, I'm leaving a little white spot so that it looks like the light's hitting. So I'm kind of coloring like we did our spheres, leaving that white spot where the light's hitting, okay? If you don't leave it, your kernels won't look 3D. So we're pretending that the red part's the shadowing dark part. And if you lost your kernel lines, you can just imagine where they go back. Okay, a little bit of red. I'm gonna fill in some parts that are yellow with red because I feel like there's not enough red. So just around those kernels, fill in a few parts with either your red or brown red, whatever you're using. Okay, I feel that looks kind of alike. Now I'm gonna go back here and try to mimic the colors. It feels a little too yellow. I'm gonna add a little bit of brown. So this is where my darkest darks can go. I'm gonna add a few lines that are brown. Maybe I'll add some of the hairs with brown. And mostly doing lines with my brown. Filling in any white areas that should be a little bit darker. And kind of doing the texture of the leaves. So that's pretty much it. Now it's just time to go back and work on any little details that need to be worked on. And we finished our corn for today. So any areas that look too white, go back, fill them in with yellow, or fill them in with a peach. Remember, peach, yellow, and white are our good fillers. So they will fill in any white areas. And again, it's okay to leave white because those are the places where your light's hitting the most. So there's our drawing of the day. We did the corn. So you guys should have practiced the squash and the corn by today. Thank you.